We are finally here, and you can see the bracket. It's going to be Brad against Dallin.
Yeah, we have the kind of classic matchup at this point of the expanded format. The Yveltal deck versus the Vespiquen deck. Actually, the exact same matchup in the finals of last weekend's regional championship. And there's a reason for that. These two decks have shown themselves to be the most consistent and powerful ones in the expanded format. And it's no surprise to see these decks here.
And Dallin, definitely one of the fresher faces that we've seen for the Pokemon trading card game, but you can see he's sort of created a nice resume over the last 5 or so years. He's won estates, he's gotten plenty of top cuts at regionals, but no wins yet, and I'm sure he would love to find his first today.
Yeah, he is a state champion in 2012, so has some experience, taking home a big win, but this would certainly be a great tournament for him to win. I said it yesterday, regional championships are where legends begin. And this would be a great tournament for Dallin to make a great name for himself here and say, hey, I'm here. I'm one of the top players in this game. I'm going to win the biggest regional championship in history.
And you guys just heard about Brad in our last game, but you can see just such a consistent player, has had some great showings, especially at Nationals, and he has won a regional, but it's been a while. I can say regionals have changed quite a bit since 2010. This would be a much larger tournament win, and just an incredible thing for anyone to put on their resume.
Yeah, Brad was saying, I always do well at regionals. I always make top 8, and we actually kind of pointed that out earlier. Brad's always in there in the top 8. He's like, I always lose in top 8. I never win. So he really was excited to make it to the finals, and here we go. Starting off with game number 1, Brad versus Dallin. We got it Yveltal versus Wobbuffet.
So we saw Dallin opting to take that safer route when it comes to building up your Vespiquen line, having multiple Wobbuffet if need be. Also the Tropical Beach as well, just to sort of slow things down and evolve if you have to fight through an Archeops. We didn't see any from Brad in the last set, but it is always an option, something that he could drop down.
Yeah, the Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick combo with Archeops and Gallade is really a nice option to have, but it's not necessary for his deck to function. Yveltal EX, Darkrai EX, these are two of the best cards we've ever seen in the Pokemon TCG, and those two cards alone can win you almost any matchup. The Gallade or Archeops, just kind of icing on the cake, and when you could get them out, they just give you extra oomph to disrupt your opponent.
And you mentioned that this was sort of the last matchup that we saw at last regional championships. Darkrai, the Dark deck was able to overcome Vespiquen last time.
Yeah. Now, Dallin does open with Wobbuffet. That's actually a really interesting starting Pokemon for this deck. There are some decks that use a lot of Wobbuffet because they want to shut down opposing Shaman EX, stop their opponents from setting up, and then they have kind of a slower strategy where they sit behind Wobbuffet and build something up. Dallin runs a couple Wobbuffet just to kind of shut down Archeops. So when he starts with it, his deck also relies on Shaman EX quite a bit. It can create an awkward stalemate situation where both sides don't get a whole lot going. But we'll see if Dallin begins with a supporter in his hand. That'll be a big difference.
Yeah, if this Wobbuffet doesn't move in any way, or Dallin doesn't have an option like the Tropical Beach to help him draw more cards, this can be a stranger situation. We just see the Mr. Mime hit the field, bench barrier.
I haven't seen that in a while. Actually, the new one, the Fairy-type Mr. Mime, still has the bench barrier, though.
Yeah, and I believe that same Mr. Mime is also coming back in Generations, so it should be staying for a little while.
Yeah, now Dallin does have a supporter. It's Colress for 3 cards, though.
Oh, man.
Not exactly the one you want to play on your first turn.
No, not on your first turn in the finals either.
Draws 3 cards there. I think I saw an AZ and an Audino and not much else. We'll see what Brad can pull off.
Now, Brad can't play any Shaman of his own. However, you can see he's going to be getting the first attacks off. He's got a Sycamore, so he can get a nice big hand. I think the only thing he would have liked to have maybe is a way to discard a Dark Energy. I don't know if he's done that yet. But otherwise, this is certainly a great start.
Definitely. He finds a Battle Compressor. He can go ahead and use that. Get some energy in the discard pile. He already does have one. He Ultra Balled that on the first turn. Trainer's Mail going to start things off, though.
Yeah, Versus Seeker can make sure that he can continually draw cards each turn, while Dallin really has nothing at all. And Brad could just run away to a really quick starting win.
Yeah, I saw his hand has at least 1 Dark Patch and a double colorless energy, so he could power up that Yveltal EX. It looks like 2 Dark Patch, actually.
Oh, wow. And the Compressor's going to make sure that he will have all the dark he needs. this could be an extremely huge turn, and there's a reason he dropped that float stone down in the active position.
Yeah, so he can retreat to a bigger Pokemon to start to put some pressure on. If he can knock out this Wobbuffet this turn, looking at Dallin's hand, we could have a quick first game here in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do to retaliate when a Yveltal EX is ready to go?
Yeah, well, ideally you would play a bunch of battle compressors, discard a bunch of Pokemon, and respond with